Good afternoon. Welcome to the marketplace. Coming up, fears of fuel shortage as tanker drivers embark on a strike, asking government to fix bad roads. Also coming up, shipping industry outlook positive despite current challenges. We hear from stakeholders.
With a tick in the economy, it would affect all sectors of Ghana's economy for us to also benefit. So yes, we believe that with the uptick in the economy, we would also improve.
And government's treasury bills marginally oversubscribed as interest rates hit 29.2%. My name is Daryl. Kwawu. Thanks for being with us. Details coming up. Well, thanks for staying with us, everyone. We want to begin with this story we are following for you. The Tanker Drivers Association of Ghana has today abandoned work in protest of bad roads within the Tema oil refinery area and other areas the drivers ply. According to the union, several attempts to get government to fix the roads have not been successful. Today, leadership of the Tanker Drivers Union took the media on a tour of the roads. My colleague Elvis Washington was there, joins me on Zoom. Good afternoon to you, Elvis. You were there on the tour. What did you see?
Good afternoon, Daryl. Yes, so I was actually with the drivers today when we actually went on a tour of the road here. In fact, this is an 8-kilometer road, which is starting from the Valco roundabout all through to Stone Junction. And indeed, this road is very bad, I must say. If you come to this very area, every adjective you have to qualify a bad road. I mean, this road qualifies for it. The road is very bumpy, very dusty, and very bad. You know, tanker drivers would have to drive at a very slow pace to be able to navigate this road. The least mistake they do means that there would be a rollover. So, indeed, if you come here, drivers are not happy with the situation of the road because in 2021 there was a short cutting ceremony that was actually held here, and unfortunately, the minister came here, cut the short, but unfortunately nothing got started. So they are so much unhappy. If you get here, the contractor who came to site started something at a section of the road, but unfortunately left it. So it has also become a dangerous situation here where if you are not careful, you can fall into this ditch. Even this morning, there was a truck that tried to ply one of the roads, but unfortunately, it got stuck. So they are now, the main road has now been cut off at some point where they would have to make a detour through Valco to be able to connect to these oil depots. On this very stretch, there are about 6 different oil depots. So the Tema Oil Refinery, Chase Petroleum, TOT, Blue Ocean, among a few others, Quantum Oil, and all that. So indeed, so there be a rollover where tankers should fall, it will mean disaster for the community. So drivers are saying they are not going to work until such time where the situation is addressed. So indeed, they are not happy. And the interesting part of it is that, you know, usually when there is a strike action or anything, the presidency or people in high position would like to intervene. But this time around, the drivers are saying they are not going to go to Accra to have a meeting with any of those leadership or the government officials. This time around, they would want them to come down to Tema to have a feel of this road and then get the situation addressed before they will rescind their decision. And they are not having any meeting whatsoever with the road minister and even the chief of staff or the president. So that is the situation here. Drivers in their numbers are here.
Yeah, and so what effort has gone into getting the government to fix the roads, and what sort of responses have they gotten? What are they telling you about that?
Well, the chairman actually said some information with us that they have written 2 separate letters to the presidency, but as we speak, none of them have actually received attention. And they have also made several attempts to meet the minister, but to no avail, nothing whatsoever has been done. And so, I mean, this is the reason, or these are the reasons for which we have decided that no, enough is enough, and this time round, They are going to walk the talk by laying down their tools and not loading until such time where they see a visible action on the road before they'll rescind this very strike action.
For how long are they willing to embark on this strike action?
Well, according to them, they are going as far as it can take them until they see a contractor on the road doing something, starting visible work before they will rescind their decision. They are not putting a timeline on it. They are not saying 2 days, 3 days, but they are saying that they want an immediate action on this road before they can rescind their decision. Without that, nothing whatsoever will appease them.
All right. Thank you so much, Elvis Washington, our Tema correspondent there, joining us with the latest on the fuel tanker drivers strike. I'm joined on Zoom by Gabriel Kumi, who is Vice President of the LPG Marketers Association of Ghana. Thank you so much for joining us. Do the drivers have legitimate concerns, and do you support their strike?
I mean, the legitimacy of their concerns is obvious. I mean, your reporter just showed the nature of the roads that tankers ply on. So the legitimacy of their demand can never be questioned. I mean, it's unfortunate that we've gotten this far. I mean, this has been, the situation has been like this for the past few years. I remember in 2021, they attempted strike, but we in the industry tried very hard to avoid that strike. And I remember at that time, the chief executive of NPA, Dr. Mustafa Abdul Hamid, stepped in and organized some chippings and some graders onto the side, and they started working. But you know, the point is that it doesn't take the chief executive of NPA to fix this road. It takes commitment from the Minister of Roads and the Minister of Finance to fix these roads. So I presume that the chief executive did his bit, and he wasn't successful, and then he left it. I mean, we should avert this because it's a danger in waiting. I mean, can you imagine an LPG truck overturning in front of toll and there's an explosion? Can you imagine the only refinery that we have will be in flames? Are we waiting till we see October 7, 2017 before we act? I think the drivers are making such a legitimate demand that nobody's questioning it. Government, after all, is the work of government to fix roads. I mean, we shouldn't get here. From where I'm sitting, if by Wednesday this situation is not averted, we'll start seeing queues in our refilling outlets across the country. And if this will persist to Thursday, Friday, I tell you, we are going to have a very serious...
I just want to be sure I heard you right. You say by Wednesday, if this is not fixed or the situation is not addressed, we could be in shortage of fuel.
That's right. You heard me right. You know, they started this on Monday. On Saturday, there was no work. They didn't work on Saturday. They didn't work on Sunday. And today is Monday. So naturally, if in the ordinary times, in normal times, by Monday, most stations will start running out. So this is the day that we expect the drivers to cut this product and replenish the stocks at the various stations. But they are on strike today. So if this should persist, I can assure you within 48 hours, we are going to see shortages in the system. And if it should move to Thursday, Friday, movement of goods and services and movement of people will be curtailed. And you know the repercussion of that on our economy. We don't want to see this. This is an economy that is trying to come out of COVID, trying to come out of all the challenges.
Right.
Going violent. The last thing we would have wanted to hear is that the fuel that we need to power the nation, to power the country, is also not being supplied by our drivers as a result of such an issue that could have been handled long ago.
Yeah, and we are seeing the pictures of the roads. They're so terrible, and you'd have to imagine that the drivers have to risk their lives every day applying those routes. But it's not just the drivers that are going to be impacted by this. Your business as well, because if they're not able to supply, your business is going down.
Exactly the point. As I speak to you now, most of our stations selling the LPG have started drying up. I mean, why must we wait to get to this? This, in as much as this will impact negatively on our business, We believe the drivers have legitimate demand that must be met as soon as possible. And we urge on government to, as a matter of urgency, fix this problem so we can get back to work and get back to normal lives. This should not travel beyond tomorrow. If it does, there will be serious consequences on our economy.
What kind of reasonable response would you expect of government? Because in situations like this, they would come and say, yes, we'll fix the road, and then months down the line, they would not do that. And so how does the government approach this? Seeing that we do not have time, if there's a fuel shortage, it's going to impact on prices as well. And we know what that does if fuel prices go up.
Yes, you see, it's about a commitment to get it done. I mean, some of us, even really over the weekend, were trying to avert this situation. But the drivers are saying that, look, they've had enough, and enough is enough. They can't take it any longer. But we want to see commitment from government. It's just a matter of mobilizing. There was even a contractor on site. But I'm sure the contractor is not being fed with the necessary funds. That's why he abandoned the projects. And it's not only in Accra, Tema alone. If you go to Kumasi, if you go to Bupe, if you go to Atuabo, if you go to Takoradi, the situation is the same. I mean, this is a source of very huge revenue for government. All these depots give government very huge revenue. So what is it that we can attend to their roads? So that, after all, it's the duty of government to fix roads. So we appeal to government to step in immediately. We should not wait for more than 48 hours for this strike to last for more than 48 hours. Otherwise, the consequences on the economy will not be too good. The Ministry of Roads and Highways and the Minister of Finance should find the money. The Ministry of Roads should get committed. This problem cannot be solved by even the Minister for Energy. Yeah. He is not the one who fixed roads. It's clearly the minister was there to cut saws some time ago. What happened? That we have to go back to this. We are urging the Minister of Roads to urgently order the contractor on site. That the Minister of Finance should also find the money to give these contractors so that they fix the road as soon as possible. So we don't throw our country into another situation.
Thank you so much, Gabriel Kumi, Vice President, LPG Marketers Association. We'll continue to monitor this story for you. Like you heard Elvis report earlier, the drivers say if they do not see contractors on the roads, they are not going back. And like Gabriel Kumi points out, by Wednesday, Thursday, we could be experiencing a shortage of fuel. We don't want that to happen, so time is of essence. Well, let's move on to other stories. Group Senior Director of Fuel Trade, Kwawu says the shipping industry holds a positive outlook despite post-COVID impact, economic challenges and other factors. He says stakeholders may be reeling under the current situation, but all is not lost. Kwawu was speaking to Joy Business after opening a new office space of the subsidiary Bulk Ship and Trade Limited in Tema. Correspondent Kwame Yanka has the rest of the story.
The shipping industry continues to decline as it experiences the negative impacts of post-COVID, inflation, and other factors restricting demand. In Ghana, for instance, Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority (GPHA) recorded about 15% drop in cargo between January and September 2022. The situation across the industry generally isn't any better, but Group Senior Director for Fuel Trade, Kwawu says all is not lost. He remains optimistic the industry would bounce back with stakeholders including Bulk Ship and Trade benefiting.
Okay, the big picture is that all over the world, COVID played a significant part in the decline of the world economy. Gradually, the world is picking up. China is picking up. The US is picking up. Ghana is picking up. And we believe that with a tick in business, with a tick in the economy, it would affect all sectors of Ghana's economy for us to also benefit. So yes, we believe that with the uptick in the economy, we would also improve.
Head of Shipping Tema and Assistant Shipping Manager for Bulk Ship and Trade Limited, Eric Kennedy Gogovi, says the country's attempt to deal with illegal bunkering is a step in the right direction. This is due to negative impact of the illegal act on businesses of licensed bunkering companies, Ghana's economy and security.
We are happy government is taking these steps to weed out those illegal activities. They are not only denying government revenue, but they are also distorting the market for those who have really registered to do business. So as a company, we are ready to help government to achieve this target. I will only ask our fellow shipping agencies to collaborate with whatever program government is doing so that we all help government to get more revenue from whatever activities we are engaged in.
Meanwhile, Deputy Director, Human Resources for Pure Trade and Bulk Ship and Trade, Millicent Ohin, shares how these businesses have managed workforce in these difficult times for the sector.
You need to convince yourself that these are the headcounts you need. It's obvious that businesses, their revenue have gone down a bit, and if the business is not booming at the moment, then the individuals you are having as the people doing the work, you want to always do your workforce analysis and be sure that these are the numbers you need to keep business growing. We'll be glad to see more room, more businesses opening, and then with diversification of businesses, we are happy to have more individuals hired.
The new office space is expected to improve operations of bulk ship and trade, having brought them closer to other important stakeholders in shipping.
All right, you're watching The Marketplace. Some news are developing this afternoon. We want to update you on the Trades Union Congress has declared a nationwide strike on the 10th of July 2023 for all public sector workers. They're asking for the 3 sacked workers of Sunon Asogli to be reinstated. Now, the TUC says the strike involves all its member unions, including transport unions across the country. That's big. Joining us in studio, Pius Bakan, who was at a press conference held by the Trades Union Congress. First of all, I want you to give our audience a background to this story.
All right, so Daryl, as you rightly mentioned, earlier this year, we saw the sack of 3 workers of Sunon Asogli, basically for joining the Mine Workers Union. And this, of course, didn't go down with management of Sunon Asogli. So basically, this brought about the decision by TUC to declare the nationwide strike.
I know there's been a back and forth to this story. And so what's the trigger for this latest announcement of a strike?
Indeed, Daryl. So there's been several appeals to the management of Sunon Asogli to reinstate the sacked workers. And according to TUC, they've made several appeals to them. They've written officially to them. They've also written to the employment minister. They've written personally to the president. And if you recall, during the May Day celebration, the TUC made it official that, look, we are appealing to you, President, ensure that the 3 sacked workers are reinstated. But it appears all attempts to get management of Sunon Asogli to rescind their decision have proven futile.
And indeed, they've not said so much about the reasons why the 3 workers were sacked, right?
Well, they haven't, but the main issue, according to the Ghana Mine Workers Union, is because the 3 sacked workers decided to join the Mine Workers Union, for which reason we are saying what we are now. So
they are only going to go back if the workers are reinstated?
Exactly so.
Talk to us a bit about, because we understand that it's just every public sector worker that is going on strike. No one is left out of this.
Exactly so, Daryl. So this is going to be dire if indeed come 10th July 2023, the TUC should embark on the strike. And it's going to be dire because transport operators are going to be affected. And you know what that means, a larger chunk of,
nobody's going to go to work.
Exactly.
And there'll be no movement, no activity. That's a very, very dire situation. We'll keep following. Thank you so much, Pius, for that update. Well, let's turn to the markets for you. Government treasury bills were marginally oversubscribed as interest rates for the 364-day bill hit 29.2%. According to the auction results from the Bank of Ghana, the government received bids worth 2.29 billion cedis. Head of trading at Republic Securities, Patrick Edemagama, joins me on Zoom with more. So talk to us, Patrick, a bit more about how the auction fared last Friday.
All right, so good afternoon, Daryl. What we saw last Friday was that the auction was oversubscribed by 3.45%. Again, this was duly as a result of the 91-day, that raked in about 81.7% of total bids allotted. It cleared at 22.97 for the 91-day, 25.44 for the 182-day, and 29.25% interest rate for the 364-day bill. Again, we are seeing interest in this, and so far as we are going to see that the government needs to refinance these maturing debts, we expect this trend to continue.
Read from the outcome as to investor sentiments based on what we've seen in previous weeks.
Well, investors are trying to find out why there was huge undersubscription last week, and then this week we are seeing oversubscription. This is mainly because of the target levels. If we can see what happened last week, the target for the previous week was 3.7 billion against 2.2 billion Ghana cedis this week. So we expect this same trend to continue when there is overly or relatively higher targets.
And let's turn to the stock market, shall we? Share prices of Societe Generale and Standard Chartered Bank expected to rise on demand this week. That's what we're hearing. What are you picking up?
Well, we are seeing demand in these two stocks rise. Also, we are seeing demand in MTN and Cal Bank rise alongside these two stocks. If this continues, we expect them to inch up a bit. Also, on the sell side, we are seeing EcoBank Ghana mount in supply side against limited demand on the market.
Thank you so much, Patrick Edem Agama, for always bringing us the updates. We appreciate it. Now, the Chartered Institute of Human Resource Management Ghana recorded significant increase in income for last year. According to the institute, its income reached more than 600,000 cedis. President Dr. Edward Kwapon says the institute is working to improve on its membership and deepen engagement with the government. He was speaking at the 2023 annual general meeting of the institute.
The institute recorded a net surplus of 664,219 Ghana cedis in 2022 as against 2021 net surplus of 311,882.94 cedis. This was an increase of 352,330.06 Ghana cedis, representing a 113 increase in net surplus.
Here we looked at membership drive. The more members we have, the bigger the inflows. And so it has always been our ambition to increase our numbers, various categories of members. Members aside, we are also interested in the collection of fees, the subscription fee. Then we also launched the HR Complex Development Fund some years back, into which, upon appeal, you have been contributing generously towards.
On his part, Chief Human Resource Manager at AT Ghana, Eric Adadivo, urged companies to be transparent in communication with their employees.
Just maybe we may not be running at full capacity for production outlets, for example, because demand has gone down. If that is the case, we'll encourage our employees to make sure that they fill those empty spaces that they may not be busy, that they may not be doing overtime, with some personal development interventions. You should build your skills. Beyond that, they should also put themselves up if there is a need to do any cross-functional work, because in that you build your skills. One of the greatest opportunities to build your skills is on the job. So therefore, if there is a project going on in marketing, in finance, or wherever, you want to put up your hand. Let's encourage them to do that, because when they do, you build your muscles and you increase your market value.
The annual general meeting was under the theme Managing Expectations of Employees in the Current Economic Dispensation, the HR Perspective.
Now, Access Bank Ghana PLC says it will continue its agenda to promote business growth in all sectors of the economy. According to the Managing Director, Olumide Olutunje, the bank is offering business solutions to customers to expand the operations. He was speaking at a signing event with Alliance Insurance and VW Universal Motors.
Under the partnership, customers can purchase any Volkswagen universal vehicle of their choice through a specialized Access Bank loan facility, which will then be insured by Alliance Insurance.
So we support German-owned businesses. We give them facilities at discounted rates. If you want to know more about it, speak to Max or speak to any of my colleagues here present. A lot of management staff in Access Bank are present here today, and they can tell you a lot about it. And we have several testimonials from our customers in Access Bank.
At the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding, Chief Executive of Universal Motor, Subi Akkad, extolled the partnership, saying Volkswagen and its spare parts in Ghana have come to stay.
As I said, to launch the industrialization of the automobile industry, there was an auto policy that has been set up by the government of Ghana in collaboration with international professionals. And this auto policy included the implementation of the assembly plant that can come under three levels. You have the SKD, which is the semi-knockdown. You have the MKD or DKD, which is enhanced knockdown, and then you have the CKD, which is total knockdown.
On his part, the Chief Executive of Alliance Ghana Insurance Limited, Mr. Abubakar Diaw, noted that its outfit is a global insurance brand that is geared towards the best premium quality insurance and protection policy for Ghanaians and motorists through this policy.
Our purpose as an insurance company is to secure your future.
All right, and that's our program. Thanks for watching, everyone. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Mobile Money Limited receives GSMA Mobile Money certification. You can read more about that on myjoyonline.com/business. Thanks for watching, everyone. The Marketplace returns tomorrow.